All right, so Pete, I'm gonna tell y'all a story about something that happened to me when I was 14 years old, right? But before I start this off, I want to give y'all a disclaimer. Chicago, Illinois is a beautiful city with a lot of fun things to do. It's a lot of great people here. It's not all what you see on the news. You come outside, you're gonna get shot and killed, nothing like that. But like crazy stuff does happen here, just like it happens in any other neighborhood across the United States of America. Chicago is not just like violence is like doesn't just happen here; it happens everywhere. But I'm gonna tell y'all about something that happened to me. I was 14 years old. It's my freshman year of high school. At this point, in Chicago, we don't take. I saw in other states, it's a school bus that still picks up the kids to go to high school. In Chicago, we ride public transportation to high school. There is no busing service for us to take. Only time you get a busing service is if you're living in the suburban areas. Chicago, we go on public transportation unless your parents driving you or you got a car or something like that, which you're not going to have if you're a freshman. We were living on 86 in Euclid. So that's right by Chicago Vocational High School, aka CVS. It's considered over east, right? Because it's past Stony Island. And it was right before Jeffrey. So I'm traveling all the way from there to 111th and Vincennes. So I got to take a bus to get to the 87 in Dan Ryan, get on the train, and then get off at that stop and get on another bus to go to school. Upon like traveling to school, you're going to run into different neighborhoods. You're going to go back and forth, but you're going to see different people from different schools, from different communities, because we all take this busing service to go to school. While you out here though, and I'll say you running into different people from different neighborhoods, it's easy to tell the kids that are not street kids. It's very visible. I was a kid that was not a street kid. Yes, I lived in the hood. Yes, I played basketball at the parks. Yes, I went to the corner store all the time. Yes, I would run to the store for my mom and all that type of stuff, but I wasn't a street kid, meaning that I didn't stay out all night. I wasn't out doing crazy, wild stuff. I wasn't doing that. All I was doing was hooping, going to the store, my homies and everything like that. That's all I was doing. And at the time, where I lived at, I didn't have no friends over there because we just had moved to that neighborhood. So I'm getting out of high school, freshman year. I'm getting out, I had a ninth period. So a ninth period class, meaning I started second period which was like 8:30. Didn't get out of school to it was 3:30 I got out of school. So by the time, it's December 10th, this is my sister's birthday, I'll never forget this. We getting out of school late. So, it gets darker earlier because of, the time going back. So by the time I'm getting home, the street lights are on. It's like 4 o'clock, 4:30 something, the street lights on. So the sky's getting dark. I'm going to go get my little sister from Jesse Owens Park over there, right on 86 and right on 86 and Jeffrey right there. As I'm walking, now man y'all too, I'm in high school, so I stick out like a sore thumb. Like I told you, I wasn't no street kid. My mama told me when I first started going to school, she told me, Malcolm, you gotta start walking with a little bit. You gotta start walking with a little bit more bounce in your step. Like you gotta walk like you've been outside like before. You can't stand out like that because they're gonna look at you as prey and look at you as food. And unfortunately, where I grew up in Chicago, confrontation is inevitable here. It's just inevitable. It's going to happen at some point, especially when you're living in the inner city neighborhoods in Chicago. But my mom was trying to tell me, to not be so noticeable with it. She told me I used to walk on my tippy toes, it seemed like. So I had to figure out a way to, put some bounce in my step and walk regular, because I was green to outside. Like I was green to traveling on a bus by myself. I was new to that. I wasn't green to coming outside, but green to new to traveling from way across, the city to go to school almost. Not way across, but traveling some distance to go to school. In doing that though, like I said, I look like a baby. My face, I'm 26 now. Y'all can look at me and some people think I'm 19. So when I was 14, I looked like a child, for real, for real. I didn't have no facial hair. I don't got none down here. Not really, just some hairs, but not like that. Mustache trimmed down. I looked like a real baby. So I was an easy target, and I had a book bag on, and I had my books in my book bag, a lot of them, because, I don't live around the school. I had homework to do, a lot of homework. I was in honors classes, so I had to carry my books on my back, and in Chicago, if you got a big old book bag on, you look like what people think is a lame or goofy or cornball. It's crazy. How the hell you look like how the hell you look like a cornball coming home with books? You supposed to be bringing books home from school. Your book bag supposed to be filled with books, like, cause you got homework. But if you got a big book bag on outside, people look at you like you a target. And at that point, I really didn't know that. I wasn't really familiar with that. Y'all, again, I was coming from a school I had been from kindergarten to 8th grade to high school. My first time traveling outside on the bus, I really didn't know nothing about it. So I'm walking with this big old book bag on, dragging my bag, minding my business, my book bag on, going to go get my little sister. I'm hearing like loud noises in the distance. I'm hearing it, but I live in Chicago. It's a big city, a lot of hustle and bustle. I'm not really thinking like, man, something going on, turn around. I'm just like, it's Chicago. People gonna holler and yell outside all the time. I keep walking. As I'm walking, I'm hearing the noise get closer and closer, yelling, getting closer and closer. So I'm like, hold on, man. This is getting a little close. Like, I know I ain't tripping. As I turn around, I see a fist come hit me. Boom, I fall, right? At this point, I got this big book bag on my back. So this is pretty heavy. I'm like 150 pounds at that point. I fall, and I see 4 dudes, they hit me. So I had to ball up. In Chicago, look, the technique, or anywhere, not just Chicago, but the technique, if you outnumbered, you on the ground, you got to ball up. I knew I couldn't get back up before dudes on me hit me. So I couldn't really fight the big book bag. I had a big book bag on. I couldn't fight back. They was rushing me instantly. I balled up. And everything. I try to protect my face, but they still was getting through, kicking me and all that, punching me. Crazy. And this is for no reason. Just for no reason. Just for me. They looking like I'm a stain. That was what was their fun. At that time in the shop, people was playing a game called Point 'em Out, Knock 'em Out. Basically, group of young kids doing some stupid stuff, pointing out people that they want to knock out, and they thought that was fun, which could really be dangerous because they don't know what kid I was. I could have been a kid that had a gun or something on me, and it could have been bad. But as y'all know, I'm not that type of. I've never been that type of dude. So I ball up. They, whoop on me, then they run off quick. As I get up, now it didn't really hurt, and it's probably because my adrenaline was rushing so much. My adrenaline was rushing, so I really didn't feel it like that. I felt it, but it wasn't hurting like that. As I get up, I see blood leaking down my face. So I'm like, oh snap, like they got me. So I got a cut under my eye. I don't even remember which eye it was. A real cut under my eye, and I'm leaking. So I go in there, and what's crazy, my grandmother called me like right after that. And I'm walking because I'm just trying to get my little sister at this point and go home and tell my mom what happened. I'm walking, my grandma called me. I say, hey, grandma. She say, hey, they beat you up today? She used to joke with me like that and just say like, because she was joking with me. Like, did they beat you up? She playing with me, like, they ain't beat you up outside. That's how she used to joke with me sometimes. Loving, but she was being loving, just playing. She didn't really mean it. So she just like, she like, they ain't beat you up outside playing. I'm like, yeah, they did. And she said, stop lying. You playing. I said, I'm for real, grandma. I just got jumped by 4 dudes. And she was like, she got the panicking and, she got the all type of panicking and everything. So did you tell your mother, call your mother, all of that. So I called my mom. I tell my mama I got jumped. She's out of her mind panicking. She can barely breathe. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm all right, mom. I'm all right. I'm going to go get my little sister. I'm fine. I'm good. She panics. She called my dad, and when I want to go get my little sister from inside the little field house at the park. My little sister really she a kid. She's at this time, my sister probably like 6. So she really don't understand what's going on, really. Like, she see me with blood. She kind of like, what happened? She don't really know, like, really understand it. My pops called me furious. He was fuming. Like, my mother was nervous and super, like, she just didn't, like, know what was going on. My pop's furious. He running through red lights coming to where I'm at. He fuming. Because for one, I'm his son. Somebody that violated me like that. And for two, my brother, my father's other son, my older brother, he was, at this point, my brother had been deceased for 3 years at this point. My older brother was murdered when he was away at college. He got into a physical altercation with a guy. The guy's friend grabbed a gun and shot and killed my brother. So my father's mindset, I lost one of my sons. I'm not having that at all no more. I'm not losing another one of my boys. This is done. It's done. I'm protecting all of my children. This is it. And my father felt bad because he felt like he wasn't there to protect me at that instant. And I'm telling him, listen, I'm a young man. Dad, I'm going to be out here by myself, and sometimes things, it's just me not being aware of my surroundings at that point. I ignored the signs of the loud noise. I could have seen it coming up. I don't know, could have went inside somewhere or something to avoid it, possibly. Or it could have just happened anyway. But I really wasn't paying attention to my surroundings. I was sleepy. I had been up since 5 in the morning. I was getting up early in the morning to go to the school and then getting out late. So I was really tired and I really wasn't aware of my surroundings. So I was vulnerable and them guys got the ups on me and I got jumped. So, man, my pops and my mother get to me. My pops heated, my mama heated. My mama like, man, look. She said, I should come out here with your coat and have a knife in here. Somebody come running, they think it's you, and I get to cutting them. And I'm like, man, she was just so upset that I got violated like that. Because they knew I wasn't no street kid. I ain't bother nobody. That was just somebody trying to prey on me. So at that point, I remember, because I had to get stitched up. My eye was leaking. I had to go to the doctor to get stitches. I missed one day of school, came back. My eye was a little black under there and everything, but I was okay. And man, I promise y'all, like, it's crazy. I told my grandma, I said, Grandma, you put that on me, Grandma. You steady playing, talking about some. Did they beat you up today? Grandma. Yes, they did, Grandma. They really did. But Grandma was just playing. She always joke with me because she know she like just messing with me. Like, you a little boy. They ain't beat you up today. You know, Malcolm, you smaller. I'm not very tall. I wasn't a big kid at that point. I was chubby when I was younger. At that point, I had slimmed down a lot by the time I got to high school. So, yeah, it was like, my grandma, you done spoke that up on me, man. But, yeah, at that point, I knew, like, I had to be aware of my surroundings wherever I went. After that, I'm turning around, looking around over my shoulder everywhere I go. I'm making sure I'm going to a room. I'm seeing everybody, remember faces, remembering voices, everything, just because that helped me to know and be aware of, hey, it might be individuals in this area that might be up to no good or, might be try to do something or whatever. So, and I knew I had to do this because, again, my parents work and I had to get home sometimes. I had to get home, get from point A to point B. And I'm going through certain neighborhoods. Conversation is inevitable. I could have had a confrontation on the red line going to school. I could have had a confrontation on the bus. It's not like you can avoid it either way. You know what I mean? Really, for me to be aware of my surroundings and to be more, I guess, comfortable with me being outside, like for real, by myself at that point. Which is why I told y'all in a previous video, my earliest videos I made, I really had to be on my square outside. It was what we call crucial, like, decision making. Like, when I got off the bus, I'm seeing on Bennett, I get off on Bennett, I'm knowing on my block on Euclid, it's a corner store. All of the boys from CVS up there. If it's 20 dudes outside of the store, I know, look, I got to come around the block and then come back up rather than go by them. Some days they was already there. I had to just walk, you know what I mean? And hey, nothing happened to me at them points, but it was certain things I had to be aware of. Like, if I'm on the same side of the street as some dudes and I see them down on the next block over, and they see me, I can't cross the street at this point. Because now they're going to think I'm scared. In Chicago, dudes smell fear like sharks smell blood and water. They know when you're scared and try to intimidate you even more, or create a crazy situation. So I'm like, nah, you just got to walk. I'm walking through the dudes and ain't nothing happened to me, So it made me more aware of my surroundings and how to navigate the streets of Chicago and really, how to really, like I say, how to navigate it. And again, be aware of my surroundings, but not make myself a target. It's crazy that had to do that growing up in the Chi, but really got to not make yourself a target growing up here, especially in them teenage years. teenage years for young men in Chicago is critical because it's a time where a lot of young boys try to join gangs. People try to get you to join gangs, or you get into competitions with dudes because they trying to be tough and trying to prove something sometimes. So, and had to learn how to really be more aware of things, but also stand my ground as a young man. And because people gonna try to punk you. At the end of the day, you can't let people punk you or let them think you scared of them. And my mother told me, Malcolm, always keep your head up. Don't look scared and look intimidated, because they gonna know that. It's all right to be scared. Don't let them know you scared though. And that's what I had to live by that. Like, I can't let them know, even if I'm in a situation where I'm afraid something might go off, I gotta keep my cool and not be looking like super intimidated, looking crazy, bug-eyed, because you're gonna give yourself away. So I had to be cool, calm, and collected in some situations where I was around a whole bunch of savages looking, cheap looking dudes. And I knew I had to keep my calm and keep my composure, because if not, I'm gonna look like food to them. So I just remember that time when I got jumped on my sister's birthday, and I was so heated, man. I had to go to the doctor to get stitched up. It messed up everything. My sister done waiting for me to come, and that happened, and they was all emotional and everything, but I was good. But I just remember that ever since then, I always had this looking over my shoulder thing. I went to college doing that. And my homies in Mississippi be like, why you looking over your shoulder? Why you turning around so much? I like, look, man, it's just something that I had to do back home in my neighborhood that I lived in, and neighborhoods that I lived in, so I carry that with me here. Just always being aware of my surroundings and everything. And now I'm always going to be like that. It's not going to be taken out of me just because of growing up where I grew up. You know what I'm saying? But I say that to say this too. Chicago, even though I told that story, Chicago is still a beautiful city, man. You got some young knuckleheads like you got them everywhere else that try to ruin fun and try to prove something just like they do everywhere else. But it's a lot of great fun activities here, a lot of great people that come from hardworking families that's just trying to get by and trying to raise their children right with morals and principles and provide for their family and their people. So it's not all like that. But in that instance, yes, it was. I grew up around some dudes that was some savages. Some of them was like that. I grew up around some regular, cool, common people like me. I grew up around all different type of people. But being here, I learned how to be aware of my surroundings and I learned how to navigate the streets being here. Navigate it and move through and move through it smoothly. Move, like Jay-Z said, show them how to move in a room full of vultures. Chicago taught me how to move in that room. But I remember that time I got jumped and I was just like, I was so mad. I was like, because I felt like I put myself in that situation, not being aware of my surroundings. I'm like, oh, nah. I'm always going to be on my square at this point. If something happens, that's different just out of the spur of the moment. But I'm always going to be aware of my surroundings and always going to be, on my square. Since then, always aware of my surroundings, always looking around, making sure, hey, ain't nothing going on. Ain't nobody conspiring to do nothing to me that I can see visually, and I'm just not paying any attention because I was so nonchalant at that age. Just being a young kid that just brand new off the porch, really going places by myself for real, not me and my sister or me and my auntie or me and my cousins, by myself to school and stuff. So yeah, man, this is a little short story time, and I was good after that. As you can imagine, my pops was like, oh man. So some days, if he wasn't working, he'd come pick me up or whatever, but I learned how to navigate it, and that didn't happen anymore after that. Just became more aware, and it didn't happen no more after that. But I knew ultimately too, I couldn't live in fear of where I was from. I couldn't live in fear of my environment because ultimately we got to live here. So I can't be afraid to go home and go to school because it's what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? If I was in a bad situation, like my pops tell me, call him. Call the police, whatever I got to do. Call the police, let them know what's going on. In some situation where I know I'm not going to be, in the best situation. I'm not going to be able to handle a situation if I ever feel like that, But after that, it was pretty cool, man. But I just know in Chicago, a lot of young men got that type of story because you always going to have some type of conversation living here. But it just made me more aware of things and showed me how to move for real. So, yeah, man, that's pretty much everything. It was my story time. Peace.